Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by tall green mountains and rivers that sang softly through the fields, there lived a 24-year-old young man named Anwaar. But Anwaar was not at peace. Even though the village was calm, his mind was like a storm. From morning till night, thoughts kept rushing through his head. Worries about the future, regrets about the past, and fears that never stopped. He thought about things he couldn't change and worried about things that hadn't even happened. Sometimes he sat under a tree for hours, lost in his own thoughts, and when people spoke to him, he didn't even hear them. He had forgotten how to smile. He couldn't sleep well, couldn't focus, and each day he felt more tired than the last. One afternoon, as he sat beside the village pond staring at his reflection, an old traveler passed by. He looked at Anwar's sad face and said gently, "You look like someone carrying a heavy load, but there's nothing on your back." Anwar sighed and said, "It's my thoughts, sir. They never stop. I just want peace, but I don't know where to find it." The traveler smiled kindly. "I once heard of a wise old man who lives in the hill village beyond the forest. They say he helps people find peace of mind. Maybe you should meet him." That night, for the first time in months, Anwar felt a spark of hope. "Maybe this man can help me," he whispered. So the next morning, before the sun rose, he packed a small bag and began his journey. The road was long and rough. He crossed small rivers, climbed stony paths, and walked through tall trees. Sometimes he felt like giving up, but he kept going. After 3 days, he reached a quiet hill village. The air was fresh, and the sky was clear. There, under a large tree, sat an old man with white hair and a peaceful face. His eyes were closed, but he looked calm, as if nothing in the world could bother him. Anwar bowed and said, "Sir, my mind is full of noise. I can't stop worrying. Please, can you teach me how to find peace?" The old man slowly opened his eyes and smiled. "So you seek peace," he said kindly. "I will help you, but first, you must do something for me." He took a glass and filled it with water, all the way to the top. Then he handed it to Anwar. "Walk to the other end of this village and come back," he said, "but don't let even one drop spill." Anwar looked surprised. "That's it?" The old man smiled. "That's it, but do it carefully." So Anwar started walking. The village was full of life. Children played, people talked, dogs barked, and the wind blew dust in the air. But Anwar didn't look anywhere. His eyes stayed on the glass. He moved slowly, step by step. When someone called his name, he didn't answer. When a dog barked near his feet, he didn't look down. He was focused, only on the glass. After a long walk, he returned safely, without spilling a drop. He smiled. "I did it, sir." The old man nodded. "Good. But tell me, did you see the children playing? Did you hear the birds singing? Did you notice the mountains glowing in the sunlight?" Anwar looked confused. "No, sir. I was only looking at the glass." The old man smiled again. "That's the lesson. When your mind was on the glass, you forgot all your worries you were not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow. You were only thinking about the present moment, this step, this breath, this second." He continued, "Peace doesn't come when life becomes easy. It comes when your mind stays still, when you stop chasing your thoughts and start living in the moment." Anwar listened carefully. His heart felt lighter. The wind touched his face. He heard the soft sound of birds. Flowers, sunlight, bees, all shining with quiet beauty. For the first time in many years, his mind felt calm. He smiled and said, "So, peace was always here. I just forgot to look at it." The old man nodded. "Yes, peace is like the water in that glass. When you stop shaking it with worry, it becomes clear again." Anwar thanked the old man and walked back home. The same road that once looked long and dull now looked beautiful. He noticed the sound of the stream, the smell of fresh earth, and the laughter of children in the fields. He realized something simple but powerful. The world had not changed, only he had. When he reached home, his family was surprised. "You look so calm," his mother said. "What happened to you?" Anwar smiled. "I learned how to walk with the glass." From that day, he lived differently. He still had problems, but he faced them calmly. He worked with focus. He listened when people talked. He slept peacefully at night. Whenever his mind started to worry again, he closed his eyes and remembered the old man's voice. Stay in the moment, that's where peace lives. Peace is not found by running away from your thoughts. It comes when you learn to live right now, not in the past, not in the future. Your mind is like a glass of water. When you keep shaking it with fear and worry, it becomes cloudy. But when you let it rest, it becomes clear. So whenever life feels heavy, stop, breathe, be present. Because peace is not something you find, it's something you create inside yourself. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder to look within. Subscribe, stay inspired, and never forget. The greatest change begins inside you.